The word prolific more than applies to television legend Norman Lear, the visionary behind any number of memorable TV shows. But prolific hardly conveys the pivotal role he played in transforming this medium, even our culture. Mo Rocca has our appreciation.
Boy, the way Glenn Miller played
songs that made the hit parade.
Norman Lear, who died at the age of 101, didn't invent the situation comedy. But more than anyone else, he made sure that it said something important.
My slide rule is if I care, you care. If I laugh, you laugh. If I think it's serious, you'll think it's serious.
Without him, it's unlikely we would have ever met Sanford and Son, Maude,
well, we're moving on now.
the Jeffersons, the families from Good Times,
Dynamite! This is it.
and One Day at a Time.
I thought it would be nice for a change.
Just remember, I hate change.
Or that grumpy, grandstanding daddy of them all.
When I began to cast All in the Family, my first thought, the only one I had in mind, that was a name I knew and a face I knew and a personality I understood, was Mickey Rooney. And he thought it was ridiculous that I was thinking of doing a show about a bigot. You're going to get killed in the streets, he told me. They're going to shoot you dead.
1, 2, 3.
But Norman Lear understood that the America of 1971 was ready for the warts and all realness of Archie Bunker.
The very first script from All in the Family.
Oh, for crying out loud.
As he told CBS News chief medical correspondent and his own son-in-law, John LaPook.
There's nothing that unites people more or better than laughter.
And All in the Family in particular, when I think about that, there were people on either side of the political spectrum who saw something in it for them.
I like to think what they saw was the foolishness of the human condition.
I ain't over the hill.
Well, you can certainly see the top of it.
Finding the funny in the serious began early for Norman, when he was growing up working class in Connecticut. You're 9 years old and you find out that your father is going to prison. What is that like?
It's terrible. It's terrible. I adored him.
His father, convicted of selling fake bonds, was sent away to prison for 3 years. Lear still remembers a neighbor's words of wisdom.
Puts his hand on my shoulder and says, well, you're the man of the house now, Norman. And there, a man doesn't cry. 9 years old, I'm hearing that. Ultimately, it taught me there's humor everywhere, in every situation.
Lear's worldview was also shaped by trips to New York City, looking out the train window into the apartments of Harlem.
They felt like they were 8 feet away. They were probably 30 feet. They were very close. And the windows leading into the apartments were very visible, and life inside those windows. And they were largely African American. And I used to wonder about them. You know,
who were these families?
Who were these families? What were they thinking? What were their problems? I also had something in common with them. I knew by then that as a Jewish kid, there were people who hated me simply for that reason. And I understood certainly by then, that black people had it worse than I had it.
Just a few years later, Lear would look out different windows a world away.
How you doing, buddy?
I hug.
Hey, good to see you.
I hug.
Yeah.
During World War II, Lear served as a radio operator and gunner, flying more than 50 bombing missions over Germany and Italy. His escort during some of these dangerous flights, the famed all-black Tuskegee Airmen.
So it's 70 years later.
Yeah.
In 2015, Lear met one of them, Professor Roscoe Brown, face-to-face for the first time.
I shot down a jet over Berlin on a mission that you were on.
Yes,
March 24th, 1945.
How amazing is it that the two of us flew the same mission over Berlin, no less?
Over Berlin the same day.
Norman Lear understood the price of freedom. and was willing to pay real money for it. In 2000, he and internet entrepreneur David Hayden spent over $8 million for one of 25 surviving copies of the Declaration of Independence.
This is an investment in sharing something that's a part that belongs to all of us.
Not for himself, but for the public. It was exhibited across the country for more than 3 years.
The price of freedom is citizen participation, not 8.4 or whatever $1 million it is.
In 1981, Lear founded the progressive advocacy group People for the American Way.
Oh, the pleasure of being part of 250,000 people who are seeking to remind America of the tradition of religious liberty and pluralism and diversity in this country.
I know
The group ran public service announcements to spread their message.
So maybe there's something wrong when people, even preachers, suggest that other people are good Christians or bad Christians, depending on their political views. That's not the American way.
Norman Lear was not the retiring type.
Where does the tension sort of build up for you?
Head to toe.
On most mornings, well into his 90s, he was up early, working out.
I get applause doing this.
And he kept close connection with his large extended family, including his wife Lynn, his 6 children, and 4 grandchildren.
The soundtrack of my life has been laughter.
And laughter for you is a kind of medicine, isn't it?
Well, I happen to believe it has everything to do with a long life.
Norman Lear kept creating to the very end.
3 of them I wear all the time. One of them just kind of hangs around, keeping the others company.
During the pandemic, inspiring his followers over social media.
I'm into my 99th year, and it feels remarkably like my 98th year.
Sharing this with his daughter Kate and his son-in-law.
When they're thinking about death, I don't mind the going. It's the leaving that is the problem for me. Going, who knows what's out there. That it can't be all bad. But leaving, I can't think of anything good about leaving.